It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away.
They are accusing Democrats of saying we spend too much. For anyone that wants to entertain that thought, I ask you to think about the last time a person has said in this country that the government does too much for them, that their Social Security check was too high, that teachers are paid too much. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen?
What we're witnessing here isn't just another heated political argument about gun control. It's actually a much deeper clash over one of the most fundamental questions in American politics: who should be responsible for public safety, the government, or the individual citizen? When Mark Robinson speaks here, he's tapping into a long-standing argument within American constitutional thought. Supporters of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution often argue that law-abiding citizens should not lose their rights because criminals misuse firearms. Their core claim is simple: criminals, by definition, do not follow laws, so additional restrictions tend to impact those who already obey the law. At the same time, critics of that position, including many Democrats in Congress such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, argue that stronger regulations are necessary to reduce gun violence nationwide. They believe federal policy should intervene when public safety is threatened, even if that means imposing limits on certain firearms or purchasing processes. So right from the beginning, this debate isn't really about one speech or one viral moment. It's about two fundamentally different philosophies of governance. One side believes government must act more aggressively to prevent violence. The other believes that expanding government power risks infringing on constitutional rights while doing little to stop criminals. And that philosophical divide is exactly what makes exchanges like this one so explosive in today's political climate.
Now, you just heard that snippet from Mark Robinson, and honestly, it's about time someone said it. While the politicians in D.C. are busy arguing in their ivory towers, we have a real man here, a law-abiding citizen, standing up in a local council meeting and saying what the rest of us are thinking. He's not a politician. He's a father, a neighbor, and a patriot who is tired of being the first one punished for crimes he didn't commit. In this video, we're going to look at why Robinson is 100% right and why the left's obsession with taking away our rights only makes our communities more dangerous. Mark Robinson is the voice of the silent majority, and it's time we started listening. But before we dive into the full video, do me a massive favor. If you believe in the Second Amendment and you're tired of the government overreach, hit that like button right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a breakdown of what's really happening in our country. All right, let's get into the full reaction.
A whole lot of people in here talking tonight about this group and that group and domestic violence and blacks, these minorities and that minority. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight. It's ridiculous. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away. That's the reason why I came down here today. Gun show or no gun show, NRA or no NRA. I'm here to stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this community, because I'm going to tell you that what's going to happen. You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law as it is. As what I see, we demonize the police, criminalize and vilify the police, and we make the criminals into victims. And we're talking about restricting guns? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police department's already hamstrung? You're not going to be able to go down here and take these guns from these criminals. So the criminals are going to hold on to their guns. They're still going to have them. They're still going to break in my house, and they're still going to shoot me with them. And guess who's going to be the one that suffers? It's going to be me. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, it is not going to happen without a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean shots fired. I don't mean fist thrown. I mean I'm going to come down here to this city council and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do until you listen to the majority of the people in this city. And I am the majority. The majority of the people in this city are law-abiding. And they follow the law, and they want their constitutional right to be able to bear arms. They want to be able to go to the gun show and buy a hunting rifle or a sport rifle. There are no military-grade weapons sold at the gun show. An AR-15 is not a military-grade weapon. Anybody that would go into combat with an AR-15 is a fool. It's a semi-automatic .22 rifle. You'd be killed in 15 minutes in combat with that thing. So we need to dispel all these myths, and we need to drop all this division that we got going on here. Because the bottom line is, when that Second Amendment was written, whether the framers liked it or not, they wrote it for everybody. And I am everybody. And the law-abiding citizens of this city are everybody. And we want our rights, and we want to keep our rights. And by God, we're going to keep them, come hell or high water.
My friend from New York, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, said, quote, "I ask you, think about the last time a person has said in this country that the government does too much for them. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen that?" I'll say it. I'll say it right here. I don't want the government doing most of the things that the government is doing to interfere with the ability of the American people to carry out their lives. Federal, state, and local. When was the last time you had a bureaucrat show up and you said, "Oh joy, thank you. I'm really glad there's a bureaucrat here"? When was the last time you were thankful for $32 trillion in debt, $100,000 almost for every man, woman, and child in America? Anybody thankful for $32 trillion in debt? Anybody? Anybody thankful for a border that's wide open being exploited by cartels while fentanyl comes in and kills our children? Everybody thankful for that Department of Homeland Security that doesn't actually secure the homeland? Everybody thankful for an FBI that went after Scott Smith and labeled him a domestic terrorist for daring to defend his daughter in a school board meeting because she was assaulted in a bathroom? Anybody thankful for the IRS knocking on your door, auditing the poor and the minorities 3 to 5 times more? People thankful for that? Are you thankful for the EPA or the Department of Interior that sent a man to prison because he had some ponds on his ranch in Montana? We have a government that is weaponized against the American people and is undermining our liberties, and they want more of it. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want more government. They want more taxes. They want more spending. They want more bureaucrats.
What makes this moment particularly interesting is how Robinson reframes the debate around accountability and responsibility. Instead of focusing on firearms themselves, he redirects the conversation toward criminal behavior, arguing that blame should fall on those who commit violent acts rather than on millions of citizens who follow the law. This argument has been echoed by several Republican lawmakers in Congress, including figures like Chip Roy, who frequently emphasize what they describe as government overreach in federal policymaking. Supporters of this position argue that expanding government authority rarely solves the root problems behind crime. They point to issues like gang violence, drug trafficking, and enforcement failures as the real drivers of many violent incidents. Opponents, however, counter that this framing ignores the scale of gun violence in the United States and the role that access to firearms can play in escalating conflicts. From their perspective, stronger regulations, background checks, restrictions on certain weapons, or improved federal oversight, are tools designed to reduce harm before tragedies occur. So the disagreement here is not simply rhetorical. It's rooted in two competing theories of prevention. One side focuses on restricting tools that can cause harm. The other focuses on punishing individuals who misuse those tools. And that tension has defined American gun policy debates for decades. Moments like this often go viral because they capture the raw intensity of America's political divide. But beyond the applause, the reactions, and the viral clips, the larger issue remains unresolved. How do you balance public safety with constitutional liberty? For supporters of stronger gun rights protections, the answer lies in preserving the original intent of the Constitution and ensuring that responsible citizens retain the ability to defend themselves and their families. For advocates of stricter gun laws, the priority is reducing violence and protecting communities through stronger regulation. Both sides believe they are defending fundamental values. And that's why debates like this continue to dominate the national conversation. Whether you agree with Robinson's perspective or align more closely with the arguments made by Democrats such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one thing is clear: the conversation about gun rights and government power is far from over. And as long as these issues remain central to American politics, exchanges like this one will continue to shape the national debate. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the discussion below, because your perspective is part of the conversation that keeps democracy alive.